Hello, welcome to another episode of StadiumCast. My name is Martijn. You may also know me as Inadequance.
And I am Amanda, known also to the community as Lundberger. And our guest today is from this region that I have not heard much about, to be honest. Martijn, have you heard of an APAC? I'm not quite sure what that even means.
Yeah, I know you've dissed them quite a few times, but today we have a guest who always delivers. May I introduce you to VroomVroomPow? VroomVroomPow, welcome on the cast. Can you tell us a little bit about
Hi,
yourself?
hi, Martin. Hi, Amanda. So I'm Vroom Pow. I've been battling in Pokemon Go for a long time. I think it's been since 2020, like around the time GPL came out. I don't think I was that good for a long time, but like I mean, I feel that I have been doing pretty okay at the game for a while now. So yeah, that's like been I have been playing Silph for the past 2 or 3 seasons, and I have played Silph factions as well for a long time. Like, in my primary teams were Gongs, and it was the Delhi Darmanitans. I think the latter is the one that is, I think, a bit more well known right now.
Yeah, I could agree. For those of them who didn't know, there was a joke that because of the SIlph factions and there was this big global tournament going on, I made this mistake early on saying that there was no winners of the first round were going to be from the APAC region, and that was actually unintentional. I was just like quickly putting things together by name, but you guys like really stepped up, and I think I mean, you guys were doing fantastic. Do you guys want to give us a little rundown of the team and how you performed?
Yes, so I joined. So I come from the city of New Delhi, which is the capital of India. So that Delhi Darmanitans appropriately is basically a bunch of friends who like I was in Dues and Gongs before, and I was friends with a lot of people from New Delhi, and I joined their team, and they were making a run at the Emerald tier. So I joined them for the first time when they made Emerald in cycle 3 of factions.
Mhm.
And then surprisingly, within our first cycle in the Emerald, we won the APAC, and we went 8-1. And like that was really amazing. That was a really good run. And then recently we have been competing in the SIlph World. We made it all the way to the top 8. Unfortunately, we just lost. Like last week, we just lost. Um, yeah, I was a bit happy with my performance. Like, I had back to back 3 years in the top, both in the top 16 and the top 8. So personally, I was happy, but I feel, of course, like there's going to be a bit of disappointment that we couldn't make it past. Certain, we couldn't win it all. So there's definitely that.
I think your opponent was Metal Raptors. Am I?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yes, they're also in an Indian team.
yeah. Are you rooting for them now?
Definitely, definitely. I mean, if there's, I noted very surprisingly to myself that there are no Emerald winners left in the top 4 anymore. So no, all the 4 teams that are left have not won Emerald before.
Really?
So so I feel that all 4 of them are kind of the underdogs at the moment. But like, definitely, I have a very golden rule that if I lose to a particular opponent or a
Mm-hmm.
team, like, I by default end up supporting them to win it all. So like, since we lost to the Metal Raptors, I am supporting them to win the
Fair, fair, yeah. I mean, well, if everyone's the underdog now, no one's the underdog anymore. So I think it's gonna be a real interesting four that that we're gonna have
final.
here. Yeah. Um, speaking of Sylph, you had quite some success last year in the SIlph World Championships. Can you tell us how you qualified for that? For some who are not as knowledgeable about Sylph.
Yes, so I battled throughout the entire season. So like, this year Sylph had 6 months of the regular season, but last year it was, I think, 7 to 8 months. So
Mhm.
I battled almost every month, and I was global rank 45. Uh, Surprisingly, I did not like, so earlier Sylph used to have this format, which was they would have a regional, like for example, like only a regional in which only the people, like only the player from India can participate. Then they would have a continentals for like APAC, LATAM, EMEA, and NA, and then eventually they would have the world. So surprisingly, I did not. I finished like I just missed out on my continentals, but the world's top 32 criteria last year was that players who are like everyone from every region, they also took like top two players. So I was second. I was ranked 45 in the world, and that was I was the second best player in APAC, like second best player in APAC. So I got a world's invite because of that in top 32. And then from the top 32, I was in one of the groups of 8 players. I ended up sweeping my group, uh, and it was a 6-0. I think two players dropped out eventually, and it was a 6-0 or a 5-0. I don't remember exactly. And then there was a top 8 with like which was a double elimination finals, which was streamed live on Twitch. And I think I did lose once, and I went to the losers bracket, and then I went up all the way, and I won the finals. Yep, that was an excellent journey. Like lots of great opponents all the way.
And do you feel that kind of put your name on the map, or were you like, no, my name was already on the map before this, guys. You just haven't been paying attention. Like I've been working my way through the system. I was top 45, which is obviously very, very good. Or would you say that from that point on, people were like, oh no, I know who VroomVroomPow is?
So I feel that like when it comes to the hardcore PvP community, many people already knew who I was. Like many people already knew about me. Like SIlph, like this World Championship happened around October last year, and I have already been like reaching legend or the leaderboards in like GBL and doing well in SIlph for a long time. Like I've been hitting legends in like season 6. So it's does that in the hardcore PvP community, like the name's already kind of on the map. Like I'm especially with European players, because I used to play in Europe for a long time, and like especially with European players, like many people know about me. But I definitely think within the general community, like winning the world championship definitely put my name out on the map, because like so many people who are not hardcore periods, but they also know that I won the world championship. So that was definitely a positive thing for me.
And the real question is, Vroom, can you do it again this year? Are you going to be a back-to-back SIlph World Champion for the last ever one?
Yeah. So a friend recently texted me, and they said lightning doesn't always strike twice. So and this was on a Discord channel. So yeah, definitely. I feel that I always keep this approach when like last year when I won, I remember like specifically when I reached the top 4. So like I had to face Jason, who's also number 1 on the overall leaderboard this season, and there was like Rise already in the winners finals, and Riblet. And I remember telling some of my friends and teammates that I am perfectly happy with the top 4 opportunity. Like I was not expecting to sort of reach the top 4 even, because not that I wasn't working hard for it, but I wasn't thinking that okay, I have to win it all. But so it did still turn out well, and I ended up winning. Like this time is the same. Like I feel that it's just so difficult, like in such a difficult stage for you to say okay, I'm going to win it all. But yeah, definitely I'm going to try my best. Definitely I'll be happy even if like I can make a very good run, and like even if someone just outplays me or plays much better than me, I would be more than happy to concede and like accept that I lost. So but definitely I it would be great if I can be the back-to-back world champion. Like I would love that. So
What was the format of SIlph Worlds last year, actually, if I may ask?
so it was a draft tournament. So it was a draft tournament with a ban round. So in the first round, in the so every alternate round, I think we would ban certain Pokemon. So like first there would be a ban round, and everyone would ban a Pokemon of their choice, and then there would be a picks round. So we would make our picks. So for example, there was this first and the round divided by their types. So like first round we only had steel, fighting, and dragons. So for example, Stunfisk was banned right away by someone else,
Yeah.
and Azumarill was banned right away. So many Pokemon, and then after seeing the ban list, we had to pick from the rest of the options. So and it went on alternatingly until we covered all the 18, 19 types. So after we covered all the types, and then we all of us had a roster of like 6 Pokemon.
All right. Who was the opponent you feared the most? I think there was Maximilian and Rise in your group, right? Of last
Yes.
last few opponents.
Yes. So personally, I was, fortunately for me, I didn't end up facing him. But I was really scared of Vani because like, I mean, so basically, like the draft sort of got over on Thursday or Friday, and then we had 2 days to like just prepare ourselves and
Mm-hmm.
like do whatever we want with the matchups, and then there was the finals. Like like the teams weren't drawn live, so like we knew of the teams like a few days in advance.
Yeah.
So I was preparing for my matchups, and I realized like some like Vani and I think Rise were my toughest matchups possible, and so I definitely scared of both of them. Definitely scared of Vani more because like I think I don't remember. I think he had a Registeel. So Vani, it's a draft round with bans, right? And somehow no one banned Registeel. So like Vani has the best Pokemon, and this is a time when Registeel had a guaranteed Zap and debuff, by the way.
Mm.
So this is not even the nerf Registeel. So Vani had a Registeel on his team, and I had Runerigus. Sure, I had a Runerigus which is like the hardest wall to the Registeel. But I think he had a knock. He had a flyer as well. Like he had a Pidgeot, I think, or something. So like it was just very RPS for him and RPS for me. And I don't think I had a lot of hard checks to Registeel otherwise. So I was like really scared. Like if I get one bad alignment, like I can't win. Like that's
Yeah.
what I was very scared about. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Registeel was a real
that's
party
that.
pooper sometimes.
Yeah, I had Malamar, which has a superpower, but like I don't think anyone would ever say that like okay, yeah, Malamar's gonna beat the Registeel,
No,
right?
it
So like
definitely doesn't. Maybe you bait like 4
yeah,
times.
yeah. So I don't think even 2 superpowers back to back. Maybe
No.
they don't even KO probably. So yeah, I was not very. Fortunately, like I didn't end up battling him. My most difficult battles were definitely I think Jace fan was really difficult for me, and I don't like to say it again and again, but I think he like both of us played very very well. He made a very tiny misplay in the finals, like which cost him one of the games, and I think like that really decided everything. Like this one small misplay he made that really gave me the win. But like his matchup was ready. He has Steelix, and I had no hard checks to this team, and I had no ice types in my team, so I had no hard checks to Dragonite either. He had a Dragonite on his Shadow Dragonite on his team. So and here I am with a Jumpluff trying to beat the Dragonite, and like okay, Jumpluff has Fairy Wind and Acrobatic, but like it's still not the matchup I was comfortable with. So like somehow I ended up winning that, and that was like really fortunate. So
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point overall, though. It's definitely skill based, but it's a little bit luck based, and it's a little bit of what your opponent chooses to do, right? Because when you all have the same technical knowledge, it really comes down
yeah.
to play style and reading your opponent, and also being able to call baits, or if it's an actual big move. Martins told me he never not baits, so that's something that you can know if you ever play against him. He's but I wanted to ask you, you've talked about this format, and obviously you're good at building teams out of interesting formats like this draft. What is your favorite to play? I know you said you're on the GBL leaderboards. You've obviously proven that you do well in the show 6 pick 3. Is there one format that you're like, if I could only do this, this is the one that I would choose?
It's definitely not going to be GBL. I think show 6 pick 3 in general like has been pretty good for me. Like I love I think I feel that like SIlph solo was a bit static in the sense that okay, like I think the way mostly everyone plays SIlph solo is that you decide one team at the beginning of the month, and for that monthly meta you just keep using that team. But I personally like some of my favorite metas have been like uh I didn't actually play it, but like I think Echo in this Worlds was really interesting. I didn't actually ended up playing Echo, but I feel that the idea that you have to change your team every bout, every week, and like you have to catch up to what your opponent can do, like that really brings out the best of your team building. So I think like weekly metas, I'm not talking about pandemonium where the meta fluctuates, but like just a standard show it Bantu meta, which you have to pick your teams weekly, and you can't keep running the same teams because of course like you're bound to get hard countered. I think that's the sort of metas I like to play right now. Right now, I mean, it can change future.
Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely a good point. One of the things that I found, I started playing Gym Breakers again. I don't know if you played Gym Breakers too, but
Yeah,
like that's different, right? Because you can't see your opponent's previous teams, and then you
yes,
basically don't have to change. I didn't. Wait, is it a new round yet? No, I didn't change my team for three times in a row now because it's not needed, right? While in
yes.
like factions, you kind of have to over and over. I have a topic that I love asking Indian people, and that is, how did you feel about the fast move denial fix? This has been a while ago, but I think this changed a lot for like APAC players, right?
Yes, definitely. I feel that any of the players that have been put on the map in the past 1 year, like not just including me, I think Nava Empire is a famous Indian player at the moment. Like he's hit plumb on the leaderboard multiple times. I think Bilzeboy is someone who many people are aware about. I don't think they would be as consistently on the top if FMD hadn't been taken away. Like the day FMD went away, I think I had like a 20-5 set just because like it just like evened out. Like it was pretty bad for us because we would lose. I had to master a particular skill in SIlph before this, which was like randomly CMPing. So I would play out an Umbreon mirror and knowing I can never win that matchup. Like I would try to CMP with my opponents because like if I don't CMP, they always win those matchups. So like Frostlass Mirror was unwinnable for Indian players. Like an NA player could go for a Shadow Ball every time, and I could Avalanche bait, and I would still lose because they deny and I can't, and they can sneak and I cannot. So yeah, definitely it made a huge difference. And if you look at I think if any of the viewers or like you guys, you look at the SIlph finals VOD from last year, like I think it's on YouTube at the moment. Like there are multiple times I stored like moves at 1 HP or I got off like moves at 1 HP. Like imagine with denials, like that just never happened. So I feel that I can just never win with fast move denials. So
Do you also think it works like the opposite way? Do you think like some players have like fallen out of grace because of it, right? Like players like EU and NA players that used to have it a lot.
so it's interesting because I actually did look it up a bit. So there's this website which is like 9DB, which keeps an archive of all the like daily leaderboards,
Yeah.
and you can go back to like
Is that the Japanese
seasons
one?
ago and see. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can go back and like go 5 seasons ago and see who was on the leaderboards at that day. So I have and they nowadays like they store the name of the country like associated with the player as well. So surprisingly, the number of like many players do say that the number of NA players like hitting legend or doing well on the leaderboard had decreased, but surprisingly it was already decreasing way before FMD was gone. And so after FMD was gone, it went down a bit, but I think many people like they readjusted themselves and they came back up. So like right now it's pretty stable, and I think if you look at the demographic, like it's like Japanese players hit are always the most on the leaderboards, and after that it's still North America. It's still the US actually, not just North America, but still the US. So like I would say it very aftermath, it affected things a bit. But like I think many players picked it back up. However, I do know of many players from NA in particular who used to hit legend with like ease, and now like they have to struggle. Like they do hit it eventually, but like earlier, I would be hitting it on the 7th week or the 8th week of GBL, like second month, and they hit it like within 1 month. And now I made legend this season like within the first week of July. So, but like many players, like they take a lot of time to hit legend, and I think it's best to like not take any names, right? So like it's yeah. So,
No,
but I
you
definitely think
know we
for
love the controversial content. We would love it if you
It's
nailed
true.
yeah, someday. Yeah, but like for India, it was really beneficial. Like it definitely allows us to compete on an international level in a much better standing, much better way for sure.
It's like, you know how athletes, when they're training, they wear like lead vests or like ankle weights when they're running.
Mm.
It must have felt like this for you guys, where it's like that you're training with like all these handicaps. You know, you have the fast move
Yeah.
denial, everyone's sneaking, and then all of a sudden it gets fixed, and it's like you're all of a sudden you're running without like these heavy weights on you. And I really think that it was definitely a turning point for a lot of the world to take notice that other
Yes.
regions are just as competitive and maybe even better because they had to work with this disadvantage.
Definitely, and a very classic example that is in very good context with like this, like the worlds that is going on. So like this time, 3 Indian teams made top 8. Last year, my team wasn't in the worlds. We were in the King of the Hill, and I remember like in particular this matchup where I was facing a bigly tough with an Articuno, and they snuck 3 extra charms over my Articuno, and like remember, like it's gonna be like what, 5 and 4 for every icy wind, so 3 charms. I got denied on every, like okay, I didn't get denied as such, but like they threw just one move, I think, and I got denied. So like they knew that they can just sneak every time, and I cannot deny it. Like it works. They can still sneak, and like it's all right. But like earlier, like I think like people would just, I've lost octagon mirrors because like people would just throw cross chop right away, and if I throw my cross chop, they sneak a move. So if I don't CMP, like I had to master this very weird art, which was like CMPing for no reason. Like if I don't CMP the octagon in the octagon mirror, I can't win that game. So like it's just really weird, and I'm glad we don't have to. It's more consistent now. So
It's like the opposite world that I hear this. Like I used to,
yeah.
and Amanda can tell you everything about it. That I denied everything.
Oh,
Yeah, we played an All
Yeah.
Star, and she had Tho in voice, right? Tho Tactical, and
yeah.
whenever I play against Tho or he's involved, I want to throw on alignment just to piss him off, right? So I tried against Amanda, and it worked consistently. And this is
Every
just a
time.
different world, right? For me, obviously, there's no frustration to it. There's only benefit, but I can,
Yeah.
and obviously, when I played against others, I also noticed the frustration, even though I shouldn't. I was quite privileged with it, so I shouldn't really have complained. But yeah, it's a different perspective to it.
Yeah, the issue was only the acknowledgement. Like I don't think, like if you can deny, like I don't think you can like not deny, but like there were many players who were always like trying to justify it, and
Yeah.
were like saying that. Because I remember like someone who put on a theory that it's actually skill based, and you have to tap on the screen in a certain way.
The 3-finger method, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like you have to tap within the first zero. I have heard theories where someone said you have to tap within the first 0.1 second. Like, how am I gonna do that? Like, just what? And they said you
Yeah.
should. The best part is the best part is if I'm battling an Indian player, I would deny against them, and they would likely deny against me. So like India versus India, we deny against each other. Versus Europe, they would not always deny, sometimes deny, but in the US they would always deny. So like sneak and deny always. Like it's very inconsistent and weird. And it wasn't to do with, some people said, okay, like like you are very far away from the Niantic servers. Then how are two Indian players like denying against each other? It just made no sense. So I think it was like a region based thing probably, like or how they dealt with it's just very difficult to know what
It
it
was
was.
an annoying, inconsistent thing. Let's just keep it to
Yes,
that.
Yeah.
yes.
Um,
I'm really glad they fixed it.
Absolutely, and it was right before Worlds 2. Now,
Yeah, that's huge.
moving on to the next topic, I want to talk about the Indian qualifiers from last year and this year. I consider you as one of the best Indian players, especially after winning silver Worlds, right? Can you tell us about your experience in the Indian qualifiers for the what's it called, the TPC tournaments to
Yeah,
qualify
the play
for Worlds?
Pokemon.
Yeah,
For the Play Pokemon
yeah.
tournament, you mean? Yeah. So I mean, it's so last year it was we had an Indian qualifier, and then we were put in a pool of we were put in a second round, which was a pool which last year, which consisted of Indian players, Thai players, Singapore, and Malaysia. I think
It
four
was just like
countries.
one tournament for APAC or something.
Yeah. It was like right. So right now it's right. I'll compare it to like this year's Worlds. This year, India had its own thing. So like two players qualified from India, two players qualified from Thailand, two players qualified from Singapore, and so on. But last year it was like from India, Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, etc. Like these India plus all the other small countries in APAC in Southeast Asia. Only three players qualify together, like overall. I think I was in the top 8, but I unfortunately did not qualify. So last year, and this is just one regional, by the way. This year, I can make a lot of excuses, but like I felt that in particular, maybe it's to do with multiple things. I did not make it to the worlds. I did not make it to the top 2. I think the meta was really bad because I remember like leading a Trevenant into Noctowl multiple times and it was just over. Like I couldn't really do anything about it. Like it was a bit of RPS because like I am doing this thing where I am trying to set up my Trevenant. I know that if I don't lead my Trevenant, they can lead their Swampert Remedy every time or Registeal every time. And I'm trying to run anti-Noctowls in the lead every time, and I'm trying to like play it out so they set up my Trevenant. And despite doing all of this, I lead my Trevenant and it's a Noctowl. Like there's nothing I can do about it. So, and I think that's like Trevenant into Noctowl was one of the worst matchups to come out from. Like I think like it's downright impossible to flip that.
I don't think you
Like
come out of that matchup.
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like an installer. So like
Yeah.
I think the current play Pokemon meta like has been much better for sure. Like lots of play. I don't even think Noctowl is like that common anymore. Like I have been talking to a bunch of players who have qualified for the Play Pokemon finals, and they have sent me their teams. And Noctowl doesn't even seem like it's going to be meta. Lantern doesn't even seem like it's hard meta anymore. Like it's a lot more diverse. It's definitely like I have seen Kanto Ninetales being meta now. Like it's Dugong being around, Sandslash being around. It's definitely much more diverse. I think Medi always stays strong
Mm-hmm.
in every team. Medi has been there for a long time. In the middle, even Medi was not that common for some time. But like I mean, people were using Swampert A9 cores, so like Medi was not that common for some
Yeah.
time. But then like Medi's back still, and many people just use Medicham everywhere. Um, yeah, definitely. I am not particularly happy with not being able to reach Yokohama, but the way I see it, like next year, always a possibility. Like I don't plan to quit the game, like quit the game anytime soon. At least like the bigger circuits like Play Pokemon, I don't plan to quit them anytime soon. And fortunately, next year I'm planning to travel to Europe to at least participate in like EUIC or
To us.
one of the big tournaments. Yes. So that should be that would be really fun.
Yeah, and when you're abroad in the Netherlands, I just want you to know that there's a much more fun and interesting country that's like literally
No, no,
less
no,
than
no,
an
no, no,
hour
no, no, no,
away.
no, no, no. I already see where it's going.
Yes, I do agree that Germany is a pretty fun place to hang out.
Good one, good one.
It's something.
No, that is exciting. I mean, I asked this question quite a lot, and since you are one of the more skilled players globally, and you've had a chance to play against a lot of people around the world, Do you think there is a difference in play style in the different regions? Like, how do you think that you fare against EU? Is it just going to be an easy clap for you, and then you'll be able to get your qualification there?
I don't think so. I think just my idea of playing in EU is, I think it's a bit of a controversial opinion, but I think Australian regionals are relatively easier than the other ones. And they're not no fault of the Aussie players, but like it's just that I think like that just not too many players. I remember one of the regionals had just 28 or 29 players. Like if I remember reading that, or like maybe like 40 or 50 players. That's not a lot compared to, for example, like NAIC, which is just stacked completely. So I don't think I will necessarily win in Europe. It's just a matter of having more regionals. So like, okay, I did not make it to Worlds, but India had only one regional. Like and there are various examples of right now. I was just looking at a list of all the players who have qualified like half an hour ago, and like I see like more than 20 American players, and most of them wouldn't make it if they had one regional, right? So like it's a matter of it's a matter of having multiple regionals to compete in. Like maybe it sounds a bit overconfident of me, but like if I had maybe 10 regionals to work with, I think I would be going to Yokohama like eventually. So it's unfortunate, but like it is what it is. Like it's okay.
Yeah. No, I do think you make a good point though. Like the more regionals there are, and especially if already qualified players are going to some of those, that World Invite even cascade down to top 8. That just makes it easier indeed. So no, I do agree on that. And yeah, that is what it is, unfortunately at the moment. The one I do want to ask about, because that's something like a completely unknown topic on my side. Like, how is the Indian qualifier exactly organized? When we do it in like Europe and NA, there is like there's this website RK9, and you can sign up there. You pay and you sign up, and then you go to a location. How is that done for the Indian qualifier?
So for the past 2 years, the Indian and Asian qualifiers in general, they have been organized through this gaming organization called WCS. I think that's what it's called. Oh, no, WCS is the Indian regional. It's organized through this particular organization. I forgot the name. It's not RK9. Uh, so they organize it. It was really, I personally wasn't a huge fan of it. It was 256 people in one day. So it's an 8 rounder with 45 minutes, and they kept per round, and they kept extending it by 15 minutes. And it's a Swiss, not even a double elimination, by the way. With Swiss rounds, Swiss rounds, 8 in number, over 170 players. One round is 1 hour with breaks in between. So a tournament that went on from 12 p.m. in the afternoon to 9 p.m. in the night, which was
It's too long.
like it was I don't think, like I feel that sometimes like tournaments like these may not be a fair assessment of who's skill wise better. It may just be an assessment of who can sit for 9 hours and play, because I remember like many players who were 6-0. I remember one player who was 6-0, and then he skipped a round because because like you can't spend the entire day doing this. So, like he had to go somewhere, so he literally took a loss in one round, and then he couldn't make it to the top 16 or top 8. So like it's pretty crazy. Like I think they could definitely do with better organization of this event. I think it was really, the word to use is grueling. I think it was really grueling to sit through this. It was really badly organized. I don't know if I get in trouble for saying that, but like it was.
I think
So
you're definitely entitled to your opinion, right? I mean,
Don't
yeah,
worry
it
about
was.
that.
I think many people have the same opinion that it was not very well organized. Like they could have done rounds over 2 days, or they could have done multiple, like three regionals with like lesser people going from each regional. But like having everyone crowd through is not. It was pretty grueling. and it's not even it's in-person regional, by the way. It takes place completely online. So I sat from 12 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. in my time. Like that's like I was battling the entire. So maybe they could do with a double aliens would take really long, I think, with like 170 people. But like they could probably just divide the number of players and like do the tournament separately. I think that's the better way to go around it. So
Yeah.
yes, I mean that we can only find out next year how it's gonna be.
Listen, Vroom, on the subject of controversial topics of your opinion there, and we can cut this if you don't want to talk about it, but Martijn has a question that he likes to ask all the Indians, and I also have a question that I like to ask all the Indians. How ridiculous is my screen name when people see it for the first time in the Indian community?
Yeah, I think so it's
Am I a laughing stock of the Indian community?
no, so the thing is, this has been a very like I would say like you are not like it stands out for sure. You are not the first person in the sense that like there's a university with that name, right? Like in Sweden, like
Mhm.
uh famously, like Lund University, they 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 turned off their comments, or they stopped they banned Indian people from commenting this on their Facebook pages at one point because it was getting too much. And like if let me put it this way, if I am an Indian player and if I go to, if let's say I am deciding to do like my masters or something, like normally it's a very common thing for Indians to like study abroad. If I go to Lund University to do my masters, I would rather not place it like anywhere in public, or like it just but it works either way. So like there are multiple Indian names like that are made fun of like in like the in like English speaking countries. Like for example, I think like player's name it's a very popular name, Hardik, and if you say it in English, it's just really unfortunate. So like I really want to say that to you, like it cuts both ways, you know.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
it's okay.
For
Yeah.
those who
So
don't know, Lund
yeah.
apparently is the eggplant emoji, pretty much. And
Yes.
so my name being a Lundberger, I think the first time I went to a Discord server, one of the Indian guys was like, "Whoa, this name is not suitable for work.
Yeah.
Not a burger I want to eat."
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it can be a bit funny at times, I would say.
Speaking of names, and this might come out of the blue, where did you get your name from? VroomVroomPow.
Yeah. So like Vroom is a common nickname that many of my IRL friends have for me. It matches like my real name quite a bit. And like Vroom Pow was something I just came up with because I think there's this song which is like Boom Boom Pow,
Mhm.
and some people were like saying Vroom Vroom, so I just like made it like I just like wanted to have a cool name, so I just like came up with Vroom Pow, and I am pretty happy with this name. So that's really it. But like yeah, Vroom matches. Vroom is like a IRL nickname for me, and like it's many people who don't even know that I play Pokemon Go or like who are not involved in this at all. Like they also call me Vroom. So multiple people have independently come up with the nickname Vroom for me, like throughout my lifetime. So matches my real name quite a bit. So yeah, like, it's just something that I came up with after that.
That's
All
cool.
right. All right.
Also, on the subject of names, we're going to have you name a few people, Vroom Vroom. And this is the sort of the iconic thing that we do on this podcast. We're going to ask you to name a person in the PvP community who you consider a brawler. And this would be someone who is maybe not super well known within PvP, but you think is incredibly good, like a scrappy player or someone maybe just starting out, but they have a lot of potential. And then also want you to name a champion. And this would be someone who is already well known in the community, and you think that they really have a shot of becoming like world champion and play Pokemon or SIlph or something like that.
Okay, so um, potentially I would say, I mean there are lots of Indian players, but I think I think like I have to say not necessarily well known, but like it's tough to name players who are not well known. I think, but I think um, right now a friend of mine, he's actually the top four. This player named Dekha Chan from India. His I think he has a lot of good potential. Like, he's not been on the map as such over the last, like I think he's more styled like coming on the map over the past 6 months or so. Like I don't think he was that well known before, but like he's been doing really great. Like if you look at his action record, it's really good. Like he's been like on the front page in TBL. So I think like someone like him can like really suddenly make an international appearance. I'm a champion. I think I have to say, like right now, I may be a bit biased because I watched the NA regionals and NA continentals for SIlph, and I think like dial up is just plays on a different level at the moment. Like I think I think I think I may not be even wrong if I say like if like faction dial up is the only player at the moment who can potentially win, who I would say is a favorite to win faction worlds, SIlph worlds, and play Pokemon worlds, like all three. Because like if you look at his gameplay, I think it's tough to find something like that's not perfect most of the time. So someone who I would be very excited to face if I can reach the finals again, I would be like really excited to face someone like dial up. So definitely someone who right now I look up to for sure.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah, Eddie's pretty correct. I have one more question, but this one's for you, Amanda. I think this is your chance to formally apologize to the Indian community.
Ooh, I did say that I would apologize if they proved me wrong. So we're gonna end on that note. India, Asia in general, I'm so sorry. I underestimated you guys, and turns out you guys are a very cracked region with many very good battlers. And on that note, thank you, VroomVroomPow, for being on, and we'll see everyone in the next episode.
Yes, thank you for
so
coming
much.
on, Vroom Pow. Much appreciated. All right, we will see you next week in the next episode. See ya!
Bye.